Welcome, Houston, to another edition of Athletes United here on the Edge Radio Networks, where truth still matters. I'm your coach, your host, Big Mel, and as always, I'm joined by Houston's most beloved co-host, my own Big Sonny. Say hello to the fans.
Hello.
The great Lorenzo Johnson. Sonny, part of what we do here at Athletes United, as you know, is support youth development in the world of sports and various sports, if you will. Let's confess, we're basketball players, all right?
Absolutely.
And we love that game, and we played that game with passion. But we're not limited to just that sport. We never have been. What we have today with us are some very intriguing guests, the coaches, if you will, and a couple of players somewhere in the studio audience of Team USA Junior Olympic Volleyball. What a difficult game. I could never get down the particulars. I was never good at the technical part.
It's very technical.
But I know how to jump up and hit the ball over the net.
Right.
Because that requires raw strength. And we want to understand what they do and how they do. And we're going to talk to them a little bit and get to meet them. Intriguing people. This is Coach. Would you give us your name, please?
Sean McQuarrie.
Sean McQuarrie and
Jen McQuarrie.
And they are, again, the coaches of USA Junior Olympic Volleyball. Coach, tell us, in your own perspective, the development aspect of volleyball.
It is I think, the most technical sport.
Mm-hmm.
Fundamentals are the most important thing. So starting early before developing bad habits and everything is so important. Because you have to think about it. You only touch the ball, for 25 points, because each set goes to 25 points.
Uh-huh.
Each person touches the ball less than a second total.
Wow.
So if your technique isn't perfect, you really don't have much. So the whole foundation is technique and fundamentals.
Technique.
Yep.
So you do a lot of repetitions in your training.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
As many ball touches as possible.
As many?
As many.
Okay, that's understandable. What has changed about this game over the years?
So even from when I played in high school, it went from side out point where you could only win a point if you were serving. Now it's rally point. So you win a point, somebody wins a point every single play.
I didn't realize that.
And it is so much faster. Back like 20 years ago, most of the time people would hit the ball, or some people call it spiking, we call it hitting. Hit the ball at about 35, 40 miles an hour, and now an average serve or hit is 65 to 85 miles an hour. So it's a lot faster.
Much better athletes out there, imagine.
Yeah,
also.
for sure.
Coach, what other than the number of players on the court at any given time, how does this differ in rules and regs from, say, beach volleyball?
The court's smaller. The ball in beach, the court's smaller. The ball handling is different in beach. You use two hands in beach. You can't push the ball over the net with two hands. You can't receive or be served to with two hands. So that changes the game completely. As in club or on the court, we use hands for everything that we can to set or to dig or anything like that. Can
one side touch the ball more than three times?
No, just three.
No, that's the same.
That's the same.
3 times,
yeah.
And you're out.
That's it.
So that's like baseball in many respects. No, I'm kidding. But you see guys dive all out of bounds. It seems they're saving. I mean, it's out of bounds sometimes. It looks like.
Yep.
And
you have to run into the sand sometimes.
Yes. Can I hit it around the net?
No, I wish. That'd make it easier.
I see.
I don't think you'd have to hit around it. You should be above it.
I see.
Both of you are going to be above it.
What is the average age of, say, youngsters competing at the junior Olympic level?
So most of the time, people start as early as 9, but volleyball is so fast-paced that 9-year-olds typically don't have the eye-hand coordination that it takes to go at the speed of volleyball. So you just kind of work on individual fundamentals at that age, and then you really start to compete on the court with the team at around 12. That's about the average age to start on a team. And we go through 18 years old. And then we send them off to college.
Send them off to college?
Yep.
And so club volleyball for perhaps 8 years or so, then off to college.
Yep.
Roughly. Give me some sense of level of success you've had with college
100% of our seniors have received scholarship offers.
Is that right?
Whether they take them or not, it's up to them.
Did you say 100%?
100%.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That doesn't mean everyone takes their scholarship.
Correct.
Some people don't want to play in college, and their parents want them to just develop the social skills. And being an athlete develops you so much more than just being able to be good at volleyball or basketball or whatever. It is, I personally believe, the thing that develops a person the most for just life in general. And so a lot of parents, they think that it's worth the investment to put them on a team that's competitive just for that, which I agree with.
We talk about sports as development. That's why that word comes about, because it's socialization. It's understanding, something about the environment and the broad community.
I noticed. I'm gonna interject for just a second. I noticed you mentioned the word fundamentals, and it's you see it's so true across all levels of sports, basketball, volleyball. Being someone that's taught basketball myself, Pops as well. One of the most frustrating things for me would be, in dealing with that, I'll often get kids 8th, 9th grade, and I found myself having to teach them things, right? And I know this is your frustration level is going to come in right here.
Yeah.
Having to teach them things that they should have known years prior to coming to you.
Yeah.
Let's.
The struggle is real.
Yeah, let's speak about that.
So
share your experiences with.
I mean, we get into stuff as simple as just talking, just communication. They don't run into each other, and I have seniors that don't talk. I'm like, you're about to go to college next year, and you're not communicating. We're running into each other. I have girls tripping over each other and hurting themselves. I'm like, all you have to do is say, got it.
Right. I mean,
speaking of that, volleyball would require adequate spacing, right, to avoid that kind of situation, right? Okay, go ahead, carry on. I just wanted to, because spacing is important in basketball as well.
Yeah.
You have a 30 by 30 court. 6 people on the court. So you're thinking that's 5
6 people are covering 900 square feet.
I mean, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, yes, it can be frustrating if a girl or an athlete isn't very coachable and doesn't take instruction well. But I'm confident enough in my abilities as a coach to really help anybody get better. I've taken girls that have been cut every single year from high school, and they come to me their junior year, and then they make starting varsity their senior year, and go on for full ride scholarships. And I've only had them 6 months. And of course, those are coachable kids.
Right.
But volleyball is so technical that it's kind of black and white. You have to do it this way because no other way works.
I see.
So I think it's easier to develop more quickly than other sports.
My frustration came in when working with kids in that manner for basketball. It was never the kid. It was my frustration come in to play where I'm thinking, who in the world was working with you?
Yes.
Prior to you coming to me.
Oh, yes.
Because these are things that should have been taught. What did you do? Just roll the ball out and just let them do whatever they want to do?
That's true.
That was my frustration. Not with the kid.
Yeah.
Because I made up ground with the kid and was able to cover the things I need to with the kid. But I'm like,
no.
Who was working with you? Like, what were they doing?
Or they were. I think that we do have a really big division in volleyball where you have high school coaches and you have club coaches, and there are some incredible high school coaches. But unfortunately, a lot of the districts have to take, someone that's actually a tennis coach or a softball coach and put them into the volleyball coach position, and they don't know enough. So these players throughout their school year develop really bad habits, and we have to break them.
I see.
And so there's a big division there, just because.
Well, tell me this now. At some point, you're either holding tryouts or you're pulling kids from different select positions. What are the kind of motor skills? What are key motor skills you look for that would let you know this person can be a valuable volleyball player, if you will?
Well, volleyball, lateral, quick movements. Obviously, if you're a hitter, you have to have some sort of vertical. You have some coaches that say, I want height, but I don't care. If you're 5'6", but you jump like you're 6'2", you're 6'2" to me. So If you're wanting to hit, I need you to get up off the ground. If you're a passer or a setter, you have to be able to move laterally very quickly.
That's it.
Because, I mean, our movements are 2 and 3 steps each time. We're not running long distance. We have to be able to cut and turn.
So your training and practice, what kind of conditioning drills do you do?
I have a unique way. I believe that conditioning without a ball is pointless, and you can do that outside of practice. So if we're going to condition, we're going to do it with the ball. So anytime we are trying to get our endurance up, we have a ball in our hands doing something. I don't want to waste that precious practice time teaching you to run. You can do that on your own at home. So two birds, one stone kind of thing.
Might be serve, run around the court to the other side and serve, run around the court to the other side, serve. So that's just, you're getting the endurance in, you're getting the conditioning in, and then you're still getting your reps in on
That's
serve.
very interesting. Now, how many games is there in a match, for example?
Well, in high school and college, it's 3 out of 5. But with club, because we play so many matches, and a match is, 2 sets, 2 or 3, it's 2 out of 3, sets to 25. We play anywhere from 6 to 12 matches in a day. So we do 2 out of 3 instead of 3 out of 5, where, because high school and college, they play 1 game a day, or 1 match a day.
That's it. You may play 4, you may play 2 or 3.
We may play 6 to 12.
Is this game televisable? Is this game, in your mind, something I can build excitement around, drama around?
Absolutely.
Really intrigue. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So fast.
Give me your best example. Give me your best example of why.
That's her life right
here. So when we were at Nationals this past year, AAU Nationals in Florida, it's those moments where you forget to breathe because you're watching everything, and everything happens so fast. And it's where someone from the other team hits the ball at 65 miles an hour, and you don't think your player can get there to pick it up before it hits the ground. And she shows up out of nowhere, diving across the floor, picks it up, and makes a great play out of it. It's so athletic, it's so fast, and it changes so quickly. The momentum of it changes. Blowouts are not a big thing in volleyball. It's usually very close, very back and forth.
I see. So there's no crying in volleyball, is there? I mean, that's coach.
Well, maybe.
All right. I was kind of curious.
That stems down from
that's
a whole other segment.
About time for break. You want to take us into break?
Well, we're talking with Coach
Sean
and Coach
Jen.
Coach Sean and Coach Jen of the USA Junior Olympic Volleyball Club. I'm going to take a short break and we'll be right back.
The Natural Nation Network is really about taking control of your health physically, spiritually, emotionally, even intellectually. because there's so much out there in misinformation. There's a lot of people now that are suffering from all sorts of diseases that they really wouldn't have to suffer for if they had better information. And that's what we're here to do. Provide information that can save lives.
The mind and the body are totally connected.
Health can be really serious, and you know, sometimes we just have to lighten it up a little bit while we're still providing substantive information.
And you know, my sort of mantra on the salsa dance floor is kind of similar. You know, I tell somebody, if you make a mistake twice, it becomes a move. Okay.
Tune into Natural Nation every Tuesday at 11 a.m.
And we're back, talking with Dr. Sean, and I'm sorry, Doctor.
Doctor, hey, I just got a
elevated
promotion.
your status instantly. Coach Sean and Coach Jen, which in many ways are doctors of volleyball.
There we go.
It's true.
And we're talking about a lot of things regarding the fundamentals of volleyball, and you were talking about exactly how you train and condition and position athletes to become better, and how fast the game is, that kind of thing. There is a particular skill that I want to understand. Can you give me that hand? What does it look like?
So you close one fist,
Close one fist.
and then wrap the other one around.
Oh my God.
And then point your thumbs.
And point your thumb.
I'm going to thumbs down.
And you're supposed to directionally hit a round spheric object.
Yes.
Really?
That's traveling about 65 to 80 miles
My
an hour.
God. My God.
Goodness.
There's no telling where that ball is going to go once it hits.
Right.
Hey, we get hit in the face because sometimes you don't have time to react. It's so fast. You get hit in the face, the shoulders, the knees,
My.
because it's coming so fast. You don't even have time to react.
The athletes you'll be talking to in a little bit, they've been hit in the face.
Yep.
So that's a matter of course playing this game, right? I mean,
Yeah,
you
that's
really
like-
get hit in the face.
You're not a real volleyball player until you get hit in the face.
I see.
Put a stamp on
No,
Yes.
Of approval. That's
no
a good
missing
one.
teeth or anything like that. Hockey player.
Well,
No,
Not that I know of recently.
yeah, not recently, but I've seen it happen.
It's capable. It's possible.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
All right, I see. You travel a bit.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep, we do. Because we go to national qualifiers where the best of the best throughout or out of the whole U.S.
Uh-huh.
Go and compete to see who can make it to the top to go compete at nationals.
Hmm.
So, last year was obviously a little bit different because of COVID, but we start to travel in February and then through March, April, May, and then nationals are in June.
Okay. And you are based Allegiance is the name of the volleyball club.
Allegiance
You're based in-
volleyball.
Allegiance Volleyball. Let's say that louder. Allegiance Volleyball.
Allegiance
There you go.
volleyball.
Absolutely. And you're based in Woodlands, Texas.
Yes,
Woodlands.
we're in the Woodlands.
Yeah.
Explain to us what Woodlands, Texas is and why it has such intrigue.
Well,
Youth sports.
the Woodlands is growing like crazy,
Okay.
and it's actually Conroe area, but we take people from Huntsville to Livingston, Humble, Sugar Land.
Mm-mm.
We've had people come from
Okay.
Bryan.
Sugarland.
Oh.
That's kind of far.
Yeah, it is, but it's worth it. You know?
Mhm.
To get good coaching.
Yeah,
Absolute good coaching.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Excellent
Key words right there.
So this is seasonal. I mean, or is it?
It's pretty much year round.
I might.
Yeah, we don't get much of a break. I do believe breaks are very healthy, so I'll give them a week or two here and there. But it's mostly all year.
Pretty much.
Even the competition.
For the most part, competition starts in December, and then it usually ends end of June.
Uh-huh.
So, and then we have tryouts in July, and then we have skill building August, September, October, November, and then we start back in competition. So
we're training.
You get a little bit of a break, but not much.
Not much.
Yeah.
Not much.
Not much.
Is there cross-training things that you would recommend? I mean, obviously you got to have certain skill sets, and
Yes.
at that level. But
one of my biggest pet peeves is long distance running and heavy weightlifting. I am completely against that. It trains all the wrong muscles. We are not long distance people. We're doing quick sprints, quick movements. And so if you need, you can build endurance by doing short sprints. And, we don't travel 100 yards at a time. We travel 15 to 35 feet at a time. So long distance running is, I think, the worst thing you can do for volleyball. And then we need light, a lot of times just body weight lifting. There's no point in heavy lifting. We just need to tone and get those quick jerk muscles toned up and ready to act fast. We don't need heavy.
That's it.
Interesting.
No. Why does volleyball practice happen at 5 a.m.?
No.
That's a high school thing. Our
that's high
in
school.
the evening.
I don't know what that is.
You got me there.
That's probably a reference to how long ago I watched volleyball. How long ago I was in college. But
they still do it. High schools and junior highs practice 5 a.m.
Yeah.
What is that? What's the necessity of that? Is there any logic?
So they're outside of the school day.
They
want to have the practice before school starts. That it doesn't interfere with their periods. They get more time with the athletes.
That's really the only reason.
Yeah. The competing interests of the gym.
Yes, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Especially when you have like basketball training and volleyball training and whatever else has come in. Sometimes football has come in because it's raining or whatever.
So if I'm 18 years old and I want to come out for the team, is that possible?
So it is, as long as you're still in high school. If this is for some reason, which we don't come across this hardly ever, if it's your 5th year in high school, no, you're not eligible. If it's your 4th year and you're 18, you still have basically 1 year of eligibility.
I see. The guys on the 5-year plan don't.
No, if you're on a 5-year plan, won't work.
A typical high school season would start in what month and finish in what month?
High school is August to as late at, the exception of this year, through the end of November.
Okay.
And then we start. We're still training throughout that time, and then we start tournaments in December and starting to get ready for those national qualifiers and nationals in June.
I know you said earlier, typical matches best 3 out of 5, right?
For high school.
For high school, for like a typical season for high school, like how many games would they play in a high school season?
Anywhere from 25 to 35. Yeah, for high school, and then
on a Saturday we play 12.
Yeah,
in one day. We can play up to 12 in one day. That's why we do 2 out of 3.
We usually have for USAV up to 100 matches in 3-4 months. It's a lot.
That's a lot of work.
It's a lot.
It truly is.
Break times.
Okay. Once again, we're talking with Coach
Sean
and Coach Jen. USA Volleyball Junior Olympics. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back. And we're back. We're talking with USAV Coach Sean and Coach Jennifer. I got that right. I got that right. And we're talking about USA Volleyball is the junior Olympic level, club level, and there's a amount of strenuous time and effort we were talking about as we broke. Coach, give me some idea of the typical recruiting season from colleges and universities towards these athletes.
Games that are on a little bit now. It's what, February 15th?
February 15th.
When you first start coming out to actually see you, talk to you, and then there's like dead weeks in there, and there's different times. So they have all year, but there's like a dead month in June, and then there's a dead week in November, and then so they have this whole set out schedule for it. But typically they start in February, that they actually come out and see you play at tournaments.
I see.
And then that runs through.
Now, a college coach still can't talk to a sophomore or younger. They have to talk to the coach. Everything has to go directly through the coach.
Who determined that?
The
That's a good question.
Really?
NCAA rule.
You have to function under NCAA guidelines, even though you may be club level.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's
they have to wait until I think it's now June 15th, going into their junior year. So before their junior year.
Then they can the player can talk directly to the coach.
I see. Incidentally, we were joined during the break at the far end of the segment by our very own former professional athlete turned entrepreneur and wellness practitioner, Ms. Christy Yannick. We refer to as Dr. KJ. So she's here to make some of this magic as we do every week. Some of this, I call it making chicken soup.
There you go.
So, KJ, tell us what we're talking about here. Give us some idea.
Yeah, so thank you, Mel, for having me on the show. And
our pleasure.
We have this lovely couple with us today, volleyball coaches who have been coaching for many years. You guys said y'all were coaching for...
We've been open here for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years.
And then coached before that in North Texas for about a year
together. 2.5, 3 years.
So about 2.5, 3 years together.
And then we opened Allegiance, and so all together it's like 13.5 years we've been
13.5 years working together.
Yeah. That's commendable. Yes. And you've managed to stay married during that time.
I know. Isn't it remarkable?
So tell us, how have y'all not killed each other yet? No.
There's times,
Tell us the pros and cons of working together, the pros that come with that and the cons that you feel may
talk about the cons, just talk about the pros.
Well, okay, we are fortunate that we actually like each other.
Yeah.
That helps.
And we do, just like any working relationship, there's boundaries and you stick to them and it works. And the good thing is when we go home, we don't have to catch up on work. We get to talk about other issues and other things going on in our life. And so when we're not on the court, it's kind of just about us, not catching up about our day. We were with each other all day.
Do y'all have a boundary of when y'all put work aside, y'all don't talk about work anymore? You'll have y'all's you time, date nights, stuff like that, where y'all just don't talk about work at all. Y'all don't bring it home. Is there boundaries, and what tips could you give somebody who works together and in business or life together, couples? So
just like any other job, sometimes you just go home exhausted and it's been a long day, it's been a rough day. And I am fortunate enough, I don't have to tell him, he was there. And so I can easily say, let's veg out and talk about nothing. And he respects that because he knows you have to have that mental break,
Absolutely.
And, I'm fortunate enough that he considers me
the head coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a smart guy.
You got it. Hammer now.
And so, he listens to me and, he obviously gives me his input and everything. But at the end of the day, because this is something that I've wanted since I was, 13, that he kind of gives me the final say.
I've always said she owns it, I just work there.
All right. That makes sense.
Just tell me what to do. Toss the ball in. I got it. Got it, coach.
No, it's probably a foregone conclusion that any offspring between you two will might go to volleyball.
Yeah. I have a daughter that is almost 12.
Ah.
She's 11 and
so she's 11, and so normally she would play on a 12s team, but she practices up with a 17 and 18-year-old.
Come on.
Yeah, because I mean she's been doing it since she could walk. I mean before she was even talking, I was working her elbow fundamentals. And
we have a lot of high school coaches already trying to get her to come play at their school. She's in 6th grade.
Wow.
Not even at the high school level yet. Not even junior high level.
Is that interesting or what?
I have a question actually. I think this could benefit a lot of people. Like, I want to know what is one thing that you feel keeps you two centered together? Like the magic sauce that keeps you two centered. It could be faith, it could be family, it could be just that one thing that keeps you two centered, grounded, together.
Obviously, faith and family is number one. And we always say unified front. No matter what it is, we're gonna unified front. Everybody's gonna see that, and if we need to discuss it in the office or at home or something like that. I mean, that's probably the best thing.
But faith is like the foundation of not only our marriage, but our family and our club.
Yeah.
You know, we do Bible studies at practice. We take 10 minutes out just to talk about how we can challenge each other and keep each other accountable for the week. You know, we pray so many times throughout practice and games and everything. So, I mean, I truly think that if we didn't have that, I don't think we would even still have this business.
Really?
Yeah, I agree. Amen. Yeah. I love that.
So that's foundational for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, you find yourself sometimes in a tough, tight game going, in the name of the Lord.
Yeah.
Let us win this.
Please let her make this
in Jesus' name.
Well, I mean, that's understandable. And I think that's a great method of unifying the cause and the purpose. You're not excluding anybody. You don't care who or how. But in my case, the background is if I'm going to play volleyball, correct? And if I'm good enough to make your team, you don't care.
Correct.
I mean, that's the question.
Oh, I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, correct. That is the question.
All right, very good. Very good. Allegiance is the name of the volleyball club. Can you explain that name a little bit, Coach?
Allegiance definition is integrity. So we've always had integrity, even playing on the court. When it goes to a crucial point or something, and they hit the ball and it might go out of bounds, somebody calls it out, but my girl's like, "Coach, I touched it." We're like, "Well, go tell the referee you touched it, because I don't want to win by lying or cheating. I want to win by doing the right thing." So it's always been integrity.
We call them honor calls.
Honor
so
calls.
Good.
So it didn't take long to come up with his name.
No, not at all.
And I love that symbol there. What do you guys, the volleyball?
With the Texas flag.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lone Star.
Because we're here.
We make that clear to everybody.
That's right.
So this is what people know when we travel. We go to Boston, Vegas, Atlanta.
There you go.
Florida, they see the logo. It's on all our uniforms.
And don't you mess with Texas.
Nope.
That's
By
right.
all means. That's great. That's great. Youngest memory of your club currently is what?
The youngest memory?
Youngest member of your club.
Oh, member.
8 or 9?
8. Yeah.
8?
Wow.
Wait a minute.
8 now?
As in 8.
8. Crazy. I know.
Infinity 8.
They practice, so they're in the red shirt or the developmental program, so they start to grow and learn the sport.
Oh yeah.
And then they'll have an opportunity to come watch the older girls practice, or the older girls come watch their practice, and they kind of get to work with them, set up mentorship.
We may be missing something here, Dr. KJ.
Wow, 8 years old.
There's not, you can't do a lot of teamwork stuff at 8 because the game is just way too fast.
Right.
So it's just all about getting to understand how to handle the ball, the weight of it. You know, we tell girls to walk around the house with the ball just to, you know, understand how if it touches you on your right hand in a funky way, how to adjust and have the turnout that you want. So you're very limited at 8, 9, sometimes even 10 years old on what you can do. But there's still things.
Sure, yeah. So training for, you know, the younger generation, 8 to, what is that, 10 maybe?
Yeah, 10, 11, depending on the kid.
Yeah.
We find that the taller ones are usually later bloomers with hand-eye coordination.
Sure.
Because they're still trying to learn their body, where this 11-year-old that's been the same height for a year they've had a whole year to understand their body and how it works and how long their arms are. But these girls that are growing so fast, by the time they understand what their reach is, it's 2 more inches. And so, they typically are a little bit behind, but they catch up usually around sophomore year, probably.
I see.
Yeah.
That development stage. Yeah. There is such thing as professional volleyball, is there not? Well, to the extent we understand it.
So obviously you have, Olympic volleyball. So before this whole pandemic thing, they were talking about having a U.S. volleyball professional league to come out in late 21, early 22. So I'm not sure what the plan is now, but volleyball has been evolving to get it ready for people that may not necessarily know the sport but find it exciting. So that's why it's sped up so much in the last 10 years. They've done rule changes to where it's just not like ball handling errors, because that's boring. You want to see hard hits, fast hits, hard digs, stuff like that. And so they've been prepping volleyball for the last 10 years to go pro. So now we just have to kind of see, because of everything that's going on in the world, how that's going to start now.
Yes. I guess it's one of those games like tennis and table tennis. Action is happening, laterally. But football, basketball, sports like that, baseball, you got these officials who seem to be involved in the game, who seem to be down there with the dirt, man, and sort of checking things out closely. In tennis and volleyball, we tend to have some officials sitting in a high chair.
Yeah.
They're sort of looking down at you.
Yeah.
Making rules and calling balls strikes, if you will. How will that change? Or how does it affect the game? Are you confident in a call? Are you confident?
So we also ref volleyball at the high school level, and college has come up with this idea that you can dispute a call. So if you made a call and I thought it was bad, I can dispute it, and it cost me a timeout if I don't get it right. But and so that I think it keeps refs more accountable to stay invested in the game, because you can argue with the call.
Have you ever seen a call reversed?
Yes, many. Really? Actually, most of the time that a coach disputes it, it's reversed.
Really?
Yeah.
Even if it loses the game for the other team?
Yep.
How about that?
Yep.
All right, we have before we go back on break, we have just a little bit of time. Is there any last thing y'all want to say?
Yeah. What would you say?
Get involved. I mean, if you like the sport, you want to learn about it, check it out.
And if there's parents out there listening, the best thing you can do to have a child successful in a sport is to support them and the coaching staff. You're not going to always agree with coaching staff, but if you stay united with the coach, your kid is going to be more successful.
That's correct. All right. The Allegiance Volleyball Club, Coach Sean, Coach Jennifer.
You got it.
Absolutely. We'll be right back with a short break. Thank you. And we're back with Athletes United episode again on the Edge Radio Networks, where truth still matters. We've been talking volleyball this morning, USAV with Coach John and Coach Jennifer. I remember it, see. And they've developed an intriguing volleyball organization here, a training organization, a people development organization, if you will, more so than just volleyball. And we have a couple of the athletes with us this morning, and we're going to ask them to give us their names, starting right here.
I'm Rebecca Jackson.
Rebecca Jackson. And?
I'm McKenna Sister.
And McKenna?
Sister.
All right, I'm going to let you say that.
Welcome. We're so glad to have you on today.
Absolutely. We heard there would be some youngsters from played volleyball. I was expecting a bunch of little kids about that loud, noisy with some bubble gum, in a baseball game. Happy to know that you guys are here. You've actually won something relate. You've won third place.
Yes.
Unlike most consolation prizes, you actually win this one.
Yes.
This is not one given to you started by default because you didn't win the championship game. You actually won. Competed for this. Let us see that trophy if you can for a second. Wow, hold that up. That's impressive, ladies and gentlemen. You actually won this someplace. Now, exactly where did you win this, if you will? What tournament?
It was a tournament in Florida.
Wow.
Yeah.
Out of town.
Yes. Out of town.
Okay, and what was the tournament exactly? For what? I mean,
it was AAU Nationals in July. So, like, everyone comes together, and it's like this big national tournament. They have teams like from Puerto Rico and all that kind of stuff. So it's really big. Yeah.
Really.
Wow.
You ever competed in something like that, Dr. KJ? You have a little experience with a national competition.
Not to that extent, but yes, I have gone to nationals myself in my former pro years as an athlete. Yeah. So I know that excitement all too well. I want to know, how old were you two when y'all got into it, and what was one thing that you remember kind of inspired you into volleyball specifically?
I was probably 12. In 7th grade, and all my friends were doing it, so I just liked it, and then I just stuck with it until now.
I started playing volleyball in 8th grade, and then I went into club 9th grade, so I was probably 13 to 15.
Were you fast, quick, coordinated?
No.
No?
I believe I was pretty fast.
Yeah.
I was doing the thing out there. Yeah.
I was very awkward and had to get with my body, like, for sure, when I first started.
Well, you guys are not average height for females. I mean, you're a little kind of tall.
Yes.
Yes. Typically speaking, the taller the athlete, the less of an athlete, typically speaking, which explains why we consider athletes like, Shaquille O'Neal and Wilt Chamberlain and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, we consider them freaks because they're super coordinated and super athletic to be that doggone tall. So you've overcome something, recognize that.
Yes,
okay.
I think I was in tune to my body very fast for my height as a woman.
Wow. Can you tell us this?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No. I'm sorry.
She's going to answer a question before I ask it. I mean, she's ready. All right? Listen, you decided to be an athlete at some point. You decided that's what made you tick. And about what age was that? Did that separate you in any way from the crowd, the gang, if you will?
For sure. It definitely separated me from my friends, like not being able to go out all the time. And because I was always at volleyball, because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be the best. And in order to be the best, you have to practice all the time. So probably about 15 is when I decided to really put everything into it.
Wow.
Yeah.
My parents, they're very tall, and they were dedicated athletes. So they wanted me to be one too. So around 5th grade, I started playing basketball very seriously.
Really?
And then I was like, this is not for me. And 9th grade, I was like, yes, volleyball is where my heart is.
Really?
Yes.
What particular sport did your parents compete in?
My dad was a swimmer.
How about that?
And my mom she played track. She ran track.
Ran track.
Yes.
That's powerful.
So tell us y'all's positions on the court with y'all's height, everything like that. I'm curious the positions you two play.
So I'm a DS, but I was a hitter for
Explain to our viewers what a DS is.
It's a defensive specialist.
Defensive specialist.
Yes.
All right.
And I'm a person that I never score. Well, sometimes I score.
Sometimes.
But, yeah. But I'm all defense, and Becca is all offense.
Really?
Yes, I'm a hitter. I'm a middle blocker, as they call it.
I see.
Yeah, I'm an offense player. I'm the one who puts the ball down, usually.
I see.
Yeah.
You score.
Yeah.
So if something gets past the first line, you're the last line of defense. Kind of.
Kind of, yes, sometimes.
And only you're offensive minded.
Mm-hmm.
I see. How many people are on in any given court at a time?
Six at a time.
6?
Yes.
On each side?
Yes. So 12 altogether on each side.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm confused. I asked the wrong question, obviously. So how many? Let me ask that again. How many players are on the court at any given time?
So there's 6 on one side and 6 on the other, so 12 altogether.
6 per team.
Yeah.
6 per team.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. King.
Let's simplify that.
Having Elmer Fudd disease over here just enough. Listen, if now I'll ask you the same question I asked the coach. If I'm 18 years old, I'm 17, 18 years old, I've gotten a sudden, surge in energy, and I'm filling my court, and it's a little bit better, and I'm feeling an athlete. You think I can come out and play this sport at a reasonably competitive level?
100%. If you put all your efforts into what you believe you can do, you can do it, I believe. So yeah, after college, I believe that many people can go to professional, make this professional.
Both of you interested in college?
Yes.
Scholarship-wise?
Yes.
Volleyball?
Yes.
Okay. Now you're being recruited, obviously. Huh?
Yes, I'm in college right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm
She's
sorry.
not. I'm 18. I'm a freshman in college for volleyball right now.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. And you're going to be?
Yes. I'm a
You
junior in high school right now.
and you're confident you're going to be a recruited athlete?
Yes.
How about
Did you
that?
hear them? 100%. I'm going to get my
100%.
scholarship.
Right, so
Let's look right in the camera and say she's sure.
right, so we had Coach Sean and Coach Jen on. I want to know a little bit about the relationship you two have with them and how it impacts the way you play, the mentality, the mental, physical, spiritual. They mentioned y'all pray together. Y'all are doing these things together and coming together all the time, and so it sounds like there's a bit of a good relationship there. I want to kind of hear how that's how big of an impact they've had on y'all's lives.
On my life, they've had a very big impact. From 15, funny thing is, I was actually terrified of Jen. I did not like her. And now she's like my best friend. And so, they've, in volleyball and outside of volleyball, both of them have been, helping me through everything, volleyball-wise and outside of volleyball.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is the well-rounded coach, right?
Yeah.
The coach and the player, the relationship.
Yeah.
I trust them with my entire future. If she tells me to do a whole cartwheel on the court, I
We're
will.
doing it.
And yes, these people are very faithful, and we do pray between sets even if we need to, and that really has developed our relationship.
Wow. Prayer is so powerful. I think we can all agree with that here.
Without a question. You're a freshman in college, you said?
Yes.
Where?
Friends University
Friends
in
University.
Kansas. Yes. In Wichita, Kansas.
Really?
Yes.
How about that?
Yes.
Is it a faith-based college or?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's a Quaker-based college.
There are Quakers in Kansas?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Interesting. You have a competitive schedule there, obviously.
Yes, I start my day at 6:30 in the morning, and then I don't go to sleep until 12, 11:30.
My.
Yeah, going all day.
That is a long schedule. So as you're sitting there considering where to go to school, you said, I know what I'll do. I'll go to Friends University in Kansas. Is that how it went?
Yeah. It was just kind of I just went for it, and I was like, whatever happens, gonna happen, and God He's in control, so you're just gonna have to let Him take over.
Amen.
And thus far, it's working out just fine.
Yeah.
All right. Fantastic. You're sitting here going, okay, one of these days I'll go to Friends.
Maybe I'll end up with Friends. I don't think so, but maybe.
That's great. That's great. I asked your coach about skill sets and kind of skill sets you probably would take. What would you say are the most universal skills that's applicable to this game?
I think your mind is probably the biggest one.
Mental focus, yeah.
Yeah. As long as your mentality is there, everything else will just fall in line. If you don't have a good mentality and you're not constantly working, nothing's going to come together.
Interesting.
You can have all the skills in the world, but if you are not mentally tough or mature, you're not going to get far.
Listen, these guys educate us. I mean, they're giving us the boot on this, right? We're talking to some highly skilled athletes here, and Becca and
McKenna.
And we're so grateful to have you this morning, and thank you for dropping by and educating us on what you do and how you do it, and giving us a way to celebrate you. Let's give these folks some kind of hand. And we're out. Thank you. Thank you.